Hafa and welcome to a new season of My Story. I'm your host, Louise Borja. Welcome back to My Story. In this first episode, we have a special guest who's going to talk about her story that is, like I said earlier, is not new to this stage at all. I'd like to welcome to the My Story stage Kate Baltazaar Dodge. At the time, it wasn't Dodge.
It wasn't Dodge. It is now, though.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All these changes. Thank you, Louise. I'm so happy to be here.
You just got married then?
I did a couple of years ago. Yes.
Wow.
I did. And I did hyphenate my name. And so, which is in our community, it's like, people are like confused. They just say Kate Baltazaar, which I'm fine with. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's Baltazaar still in there.
Yes. Yeah.
So what I really wanted to make more aware to the people who are watching today is that you were a former host of My Story.
Mm-hmm.
How is that now that you're sitting on that side of the seat, and how does that make you feel?
Well, I have to say that my time hosting My Story was so heartwarming to me, and that was the baton passed to me by you and Janella Carrera. And it's like they say, it's like divine intervention, right?
Right.
There's no such thing as accidents. So I felt like doing those shows, I think I did 5 or 6 shows, and I was able to really connect, not with just survivors, but also warriors and caregivers. And so it was the full breadth of this cancer journey. And it was such a privilege to me, to be able to talk with them, hear their stories, help them to dry their tears, all of that. And one of them I still keep in touch with. She has since left Island.
Okay.
But now kind of being on the other side, I feel like you and I, in so many circles, have come full circle.
It seems like
we
just keep
amazing?
Coming back to each other again.
Do.
And I think and that's definitely a divine intervention. Mm-hmm. I think God is telling us that our lives are going to be intertwined no matter what we do in life.
We need to be doing this.
Right? Well, thank you again. So maybe if we can rewind just a little bit to the, I wanted to talk about you as a host and understanding. Because even me too, every episode I go through, I'm always learning something new. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sure you've learned a lot of lessons then. But let's take us back to where and when and how you were diagnosed. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, your cancer is?
Breast cancer.
Okay, breast cancer. Mm-hmm. So let's take us back to what made you go to the doctor to get checked, and then what was your reaction then?
Sure. So, growing up, we have our mom, who is like your first, for most women, that's like your first source of medical information. They, kind of coddle you through, puberty and like learning how to take care of yourself as a young lady, And so she was really big because she herself is a survivor. She was very
breast cancer? Is it breast cancer?
Cervical and uterine cancer.
Okay.
So she was very, big on prevention, get your screenings on time, and so from a very young age, we were always, taught, go to the doctor if you don't feel well, get the screenings, take care of yourselves, you're young ladies and you need to take good care of your bodies. And, I was lucky enough to be surrounded by women who were just like that, who were like, hey, I'm going to go to the doctor, I'm going to get this screening, and as we get older, and it's not something we think about all the time necessarily in our 20s and 30s. But I think it is amazing, and that, the viewers should know that it was your mammogram story that inspired me to get a mammogram. And that was, I want to say 2019. That was my first mammogram. And
the coverage though for getting a mammogram has
gotten earlier, right?
Earlier
Yes.
now. So just to talk a little bit about that
Yeah.
video, it was kind of like a vlog that I did. That just to make women who are much younger now more aware that they can go get a mammogram. So that's why I did that.
Absolutely. And my birthday is at the end of September. So it tied in with, I get my annual physical every year around my birthday. And then October, when you did that vlog, and I was, just hitting my very, very early 40s, I talked to my primary care provider and they said, well, it couldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt to do this mammogram. So I did. And I said, and I was at the legislature at the time, working in a senatorial office. And I remember when you did the vlog, and I said, I should just do this. I should just do this mammogram. And so that's how it started. It established this baseline for my providers to say, well, this is the baseline and let's see how it goes. I mean, and at that time, they saw something. They just weren't sure what this something was, but it wasn't even that alarming for them. I mean, they really just felt like, okay, well, there's a little something, and normally we would see you maybe in 3 years, but we're going to see you next year just to keep an eye on this something, whatever it is. Yeah.
Okay. And then, when was so that was the first.
That was 2019.
Right. And did you notice anything after that that caused you to go back to the doctor and say, this is not just a something?
I did. So there we were. And it was 2020, and I said, and here we were like in lockdown and in this pandemic, and I did always do my monthly self-exams, and I didn't make a big, huge deal of it, but I just knew that there was a time and just my automatic in my mind, oh, I'm in the shower, I should just do this check. So I did feel a tiny little bump.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, that's different. That wasn't there before. But we were in the middle of this pandemic, and so it was like, okay, do we, how do I do this, and it still wasn't even anything super alarming. They said, well, and this was the summer, this was last summer. So here we are knee deep in this lockdown. They said, well, you're going to get your mammogram follow-up in October.
Okay.
So we'll take a look in October when we get your mammogram again. And that's when they found something. It was definitely more of a something than the 2019 something.
Did they say it was cancer then?
They didn't. So they said, this is definitely definitively something we need to take a closer look at. We need to do an ultrasound. So like this high resolution ultrasound. Right. And so they scheduled me for that. It was still kind of inconclusive. They said, it does look like something. It's still a little nondescript, and imaging wise, we do see something there. We just don't know what it is. They said, let's get through the holidays, and in January, we'll schedule your biopsy.
January this year.
Okay. So now here we are into 2021, and I had just started this new position and was getting barely entrenched in my new job. And I have this biopsy at the end of January. I got the news, the results of the biopsy on World Cancer Day.
Oh my goodness.
Which is February 5th.
Okay, wow.
And I sat there with my primary care provider, and she said, you have breast cancer.
You were there in person.
In person, with her. Yes.
What was your feeling?
Me.
Well, first of all, we're here in the middle of this pandemic, and you already have to worry about so many other things. Your children, your husband. You have a family, and you're worried about it. And now all of a sudden, the focus is now going to be on you. What was your feeling then?
I felt shock, scared. I definitely felt. I just remember feeling really scared for a minute, I'm super lucky though that I have a primary care provider, and I just need to share who it is because she's amazing. Okay. Dr. Mariana Cookwin.
Okay.
And she said, this is something that we're going to work on together. You know, we're going to get through this. This is
It
what
became a
happens
partnership.
next. And it was absolutely a partnership, you know. So, yeah, absolutely. You get scared in that moment. It's like when they say like your life is flashing before your eyes. That's how I felt. Like I sat there. I did get in the car, and you know, it's kind of a blur. You're kind of like, oh my gosh, I am walking around now, and you're acutely aware that now you have like a tumor, you know, and you're scared.
That you're carrying around with you.
Exactly.
Can you just get this out? I don't want it anymore.
That's exactly. Yeah. And so at that very day, she referred me to see a surgeon, Dr. Alexandra Leon Guerrero, who is amazing. She is amazing. And I looked her up, and she was like in this first like all female surgeon cohort, and like super, you know, super amazing surgeon who came home to do, you know,
well, you had to see a surgeon because was that the recommendation was to remove the cancer or to remove your breast? What was the?
So that was kind of what the surgeon was helping me to decide. You know, the next step was, you're going to see an oncologist who's going to talk to you about, you know, cancer cells and things like that. But the first order of business is, are you going to get a lumpectomy or are you going to do a complete mastectomy? And a lot of that has to do with staging. So I was stage 2A invasive ductal carcinoma. So that means that the cancer cells, if you know your breast, you have all these, you know, like ducts, right? These tubes. And stage 2A invasive ductal carcinoma means that those cancer cells are growing outside the ducts.
Oh, okay.
So the earlier stages are like in situ, which means inside the ducts.
Okay.
So mine were just beginning to come out. And I said, you know, doc, I don't have, she said, you know, you could do a lumpectomy, you could do a mastectomy. You know, what are you comfortable with? We talked about breast reconstruction. We talked about all these options. And at the end of the day, I said, I just want to be sure that it's gone, you know? And so we did that. We did a mastectomy.
Where are you in your treatment now? Are you done?
So after that, the mastectomy, I had to do some genetic testing. I had to, you know, make sorts of all these other decisions. And then with my oncologist, we decided I would do 4 rounds of chemo, 3 weeks apart. And that was kind of a sort of a mop-up job, if you will. So we feel like, you know, the mastectomy took care of everything. There was no sign of metastasis in any of the lymph nodes. They took some of my lymph nodes. And so 4 rounds of chemo, and here I am officially, you know, beating cancer.
Yay! Okay, so moving forward though, from here, you had your final round of chemo, and they said you're good. Is that called remission?
Yes.
Okay. Remission.
So basically, they say we don't see any evidence that necessitates further treatment. So that initial round, 4 courses of chemotherapy, we feel we are confident. You know, we won't know for sure. So for in November, I go for my tumor marker labs and my follow-ups. So I do that every 3 years for 5 years. Wow. So while, you know, you celebrate everything, you know, and you celebrate every day, there's still that thing on your mind where you're like, yeah, I'm still going to have to go through this and take it one day at a time. But this is still
quite out of the woods.
Not quite out of the woods, and it's in that 5-year stretch.
Okay. Well, you know, unfortunately, I wish I could devote like the whole entire day to talking to you about your story. Yeah. We will check in with you again if you allow us to next month. Would that be okay?
Anytime.
I would love to also talk a little bit about your family and how they felt now, you know, have to take care of mom. And so we can make that a part 2 with Kate Baltazaar Dodge. I want to thank you so much for joining me here. But before we do, just a couple of seconds, I'm just going to play a game with you called Read My Lips.
Okay.
So I'm going to say something to you and just mouth it, and you have to tell me what's coming out of my mouth, without any sound. You ready? Okay, just watch my lips.
Something mammogram.
Okay.
Oh, get your mammogram.
There you
I
go.
gotcha.
You're the winner. So that's what we really want to focus on is the importance of getting a mammogram done. And if there's anything you'd like to wrap up with, maybe you could just talk to the people.
Absolutely. I want to thank you, Louise, and My Story and Sorensen Media Group for giving me this opportunity to be here today. I would just really love to emphasize to everyone out there, men and women, get your preventive screenings. Early detection saves lives, and we can't emphasize that enough. Trying to lead a healthy lifestyle and do the things our doctors are telling us to do, eat well, get enough sleep, exercise. There is no magic bullet to being healthy, but absolutely those things can contribute to our longevity in the long run and living wonderful, fulfilled lives with our families.
Hey, thank you, Kate. I love you. You make me smile all the time.
I love you so much, Louise.
Okay, thank you again, Kate. And thank you so much. We'll be right back and we'll talk with a young warrior who beat cancer as a child. Stay tuned. This is My Story. Happy day and welcome back to My Story. Today we have a special guest. Actually, this is not her first time sitting in this hot seat, so to speak, because we were able to interview her when she was much, much younger. I'd like to introduce you to Taylor Cruz. Happy day. How are you? Good. How old are you now?
12, turning 13 in October.
Wow. So I think when we interviewed you back, I think that was about 7 years ago. You were only about 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
Do you remember much about that?
Little bits and pieces, not much, but it was fun.
Okay, I do remember that when we were talking back then. I think your mom did most of the talking,
Yeah.
and your dad was running around trying to chase your little sister. But she did most of the talking. So today, because you're much older, you're going to be a teenager.
Yeah.
We'll make you do most of the talking today. So just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, obviously I'm Taylor. Hi. I go to St. Anthony Catholic School. I'm going to be 13 this year. And I had cancer when I was 2. That's when I was diagnosed.
2 years old?
Yeah. And that's all.
That's all. Do you know much about the cancer that you were diagnosed with?
Not really. I honestly don't even know the name of it. It's really long.
Really?
Yeah, but all
I'm sure your dad knows that medical term.
Probably. He probably does. But yeah, I don't know much about my cancer, but
so you there's of course your dad and your mom, and then you have a younger sister, right? Bella.
Yes.
Right? And that's it. There's no brothers?
I have a few other siblings, actually.
Okay. All right.
So I have 2 older brothers, Christian and Mick. And then I have 2 older sisters, Chrissy and Sean.
Wow, there's a lot of you in the family.
There's a lot.
I really thought it was only you and Bella. Wow, I didn't realize that. So you're going to St. Anthony. What grade are you in now?
I'm in 8th grade.
8th grade. Wow. So did you skip all of 7th grade?
Kind of. It was all online. You know, it was kind of hard, but everything worked out in the end. Okay,
good. Well, we're very happy to have you here today because we know that, with the current COVID situation, it's and that's why we're this far apart. The COVID situation, kind of where school is at, is either online or in person. How are you dealing with that?
Online I don't really care for it that much, but in the end, we're all learning. Everything happens. I like going to school face-to-face because I play sports, I play basketball, and I like, talking to my friends, socializing, and I guess that was taken away from me when we went online, so, yeah.
Okay, so, but and that's one of the things I wanted to ask you about is, so you play sports, basketball,
yes.
What else?
Basketball. I used to play volleyball in 6th grade, not for long, but I only played 2 sports.
Is basketball your favorite sport?
Yeah, my older brother, Christian, he really loves basketball, and he kind of got me into it.
Okay. So WNBA?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay. You also are a dancer, and I've known that since, because I think you were with Skip when we first interviewed you as well. You were
Yes.
probably just starting out then, I think.
I started
right?
Skip when I was like 3 years old.
3?
Or 4, yeah.
Wow. And so you kind of grew into that community too. That's
Yes,
a very
definitely.
big dance community, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your experiences with Skip.
Skip, I couldn't imagine my life without it. I really love dancing, and I love the people that I've been surrounding myself with, and I wouldn't take it back for anything. It's amazing.
Did you guys just got some kind of special award?
Oh,
Maybe. Look at you being so humble.
In the States, yes. We were in Florida. We went to 2 competitions. We went to Showstoppers, and then we went to Hall of Fame, and we did great at both. It was really exciting.
Did you take the top spot?
I believe at Showstoppers we did.
Showstoppers? You got like first place?
Yeah, and then we got the highest score overall in the competition as well.
Whenever I watch Skip, doesn't matter, because there are different levels of Skip, right? So there's the
little ones.
the little,
and then
where are you? Are you in the top?
No, I'm not there because I'm younger. So
Okay.
I'm in teens right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you guys are the ones, the Showstoppers, that
Yes,
won
so-
the teen section.
So when we went to Showstoppers and Hall of Fame, the groups that went were preteens, teens, and seniors. So it was only 3, but we did amazing. I really loved it.
So we're actually pitching Skip now, and all these kids can go, I want to join Skip. I want to join Skip. So what is required to be part of Skip?
All you need is determination, I guess, hard work. Honestly,
Do you have to love to dance and
Oh
love
yes,
music?
yes, of course. that too.
That's a given, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Dancing is something that you grow with. You don't start off amazing, you just have to work hard to get where you are. And that was kind of with me. I didn't really start getting really good until a few years ago, but I think over time you learn and you make mistakes, but it's easy, kind of just overcome them.
Wow. Okay. Well, congratulations to
Thank
Skip
you.
and your group. Any of your friends in Skip you want to just say hello to? All of them?
All of them.
All of you, don't want to single out anybody?
All of the people in my teens group, I really love you guys. You guys have done so much for me. You guys supported me through everything, and I love them. Thank you.
So if you have to love music, right?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite artist?
Quite honestly, I don't really listen to the genres that we dance at Skip. I don't listen to hip hop that much.
Okay.
I kind of like R&B and indie music like that.
Who would that be?
I like SZA. I don't know if you know her. But she's
Yes.
SZA.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
What's it again? SZA?
SZA.
SZA. Okay. Everyone knows that, right? Yeah. So that'd be.
Yeah. And
I'm just kidding. I don't really know, but I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, you should
Okay.
listen to her music. I also like K-pop.
Okay.
K-pop.
Okay. Korean pop
music.
music
Yeah.
like BTS.
Yeah, like BTS.
Okay. See, them I know.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, them I know. Okay. So you like that?
Yeah.
Also.
That's all really.
Okay. I know. I was thinking something like Billie Eilish.
Oh yeah, yes, I do like her as
those-
well.
Okay. I'm acting like I really know. I just heard of them.
Yeah.
So you go to St. Anthony and you're in the 8th grade. Where are you going beyond St. Anthony? Do you already have a high school in mind?
Yeah, I'm going to most likely Academy.
Okay. Is your mom an alum for?
Yes, she is.
Okay, so obviously
is.
you'll have to go there. And then beyond that, do you have a certain college already looking for? Because usually you start this young. You start figuring out what you want to be.
I don't know about colleges, but I want to go to college in the States, obviously, and especially in California because that's where my brothers live.
Okay, California.
Yeah, California. I want to go to UC Berkeley. I like.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's probably going to change in the future, but. Yeah.
But it's good to start having that goal
Yes.
because then you won't lose sight of it during high school.
True,
Sometimes kids or young adults, they sort of enjoy high school so much that they forget that there's something else beyond that, right? So you do want to go to college then?
Yes.
Okay. I noticed too that, and you didn't have this then, you're wearing braces.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Are you getting used to it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
You know, it's part of the rite of passage of growing up, right? I mean, your looks start changing. So your mom's not here.
Oh,
You got a boyfriend?
no.
No,
No,
okay,
I don't.
I just
don't.
thought, you know, I had to ask.
No.
I had to ask. Okay, so you had, you said you had cancer when you were 2,
2, yeah.
and I'm sure that your mom and dad had it addressed and taken care of. But do you guys ever talk about it?
Not really, unless they bring it up or something.
Are you curious?
Sometimes.
Yeah?
I don't know, because I don't really remember much, so.
So you don't feel like you ever had cancer then?
I don't.
Are there any restrictions on what you can and can't do?
Oh, no, not at all.
No, not at all? So they allow you to do anything?
They do. I'm free.
Okay, well, good for you. I'm glad. If you were to talk to a cancer, a child or a young adult such as yourself who has cancer, what would you say to them? How would you inspire them?
You know, cancer is something that not a lot of people go through, but I know it's hard. And I don't know what to say because I don't remember much of my cancer, but I hope that you'll get through it, and I'm always here for you.
Oh, that is so sweet. She is such a wonderful young lady.
Thank
I want to
you.
say that. And hopefully, if we get to talk to you again soon, when you become an adult, and then you can look back on these few years of your growth. You know, from the time that you were 2 to getting out of the cancer to now growing into this beautiful young lady
Thank
who
you.
has a lot of aspirations and goals. And that's really what we're trying to feature here today, is that childhood cancer doesn't have to end in tragedy. It could end in hope and beauty and growth, such as yourself. So we just want to thank you so much for being a part of the show again.
Of course,
and we're lucky to have you here.
Thank you.
So when we, maybe in the future when we do another one, we'll get you back on. Maybe, who knows, you might even be the host of this show sometime in the future.
Maybe.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Taylor. Do you want to say anything, any final words? Or, I mean, you can look right over there and just say something to maybe mom, dad, or...
Yeah. I just want to thank my parents, my family, everyone that I love for always being there for me, even when I can be a little rude sometimes, but I know you guys love me. I just want to say thank you to my mom and dad for always supporting me, for being with me throughout my whole cancer, supporting me and going with me to the States every 3 months to go to my treatment. I really love you guys, and I really love you. Thank you.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you again, Taylor.
Of course.
And thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. We'll feature some bits of when we had her in our show last, and then we'll also feature some other organizations that are out there to help support childhood cancer. This is my story. Thank you so much to Kate Baltazaar Dodge and Taylor Cruz for sharing their stories. Next month, my story will be featured as an element once a month on Life in Balance. I'm Louise Borja. Thank you for watching.